Welcome to another edition of Mass Mats and Mayhem. I'm your host, Outlaw LA Red. You can find me on Twitter at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on Twitter at MMMShow75. You can find us on Facebook with www.facebook.com/MMMShow75. I think I did that right. Did I do that right? Does anybody know? Does anybody even go to our Facebook? Do you even go to our Facebook?
Devin.
What, Byron? You were speaking, but I didn't pay attention to you.
I said 187. I'm doing part of Urban's hashtag or his tagline, the only part I can remember.
That's it? You are BANHRECIT something 1852 5150.
Confusing.
I don't know, man.
I want to give a shout out to my bro Urban. I wish you were on this podcast instead of Casey. So I'm going to do my best to get through this with Casey in my presence. Shout out to Urban at Byron Fever.
Shout out to Sonny Chiba right there. Fucking karate chopping a bull. I'm Casey. That's at Lucha Gringo. Also at Suck My Dick Byron.
Wait, you brought a friend. You brought Sonny Chiba. That's not fair.
I don't think you own that website.
I only brought Velvet Sky.
Oh, shit.
It's pretty.
She's remarkably clean, Justin.
Her hand, why is her fist backwards? What what was she doing to the Bubba Ray Dudley figure that her fist is backwards right now?
Wait, so let's... It's pretty, she had, and it does have, I don't know if you can see that there.
A tramp stamp?
I thought that was like a patent pending mark. Is that what that is?
That's her tramp stamp.
I wonder if the Lance Hoyt figure has one. If Lance Hoyt even got a fucking figure.
Who's got the gun in the waistline? Is that Cody Garbrandt in UFC?
Yeah, I think so.
That needs to be an action figure. Does UFC even do action figures, Casey?
I don't think they do anymore. I don't think Jax has the license.
That just seems like a missed opportunity to me.
Yeah, like they used to have some kind of cool ones because they could just reuse WWE parts when they lost their license to Mattel. So they're like, all right, we only need to use like the top half of the body from WWE figures and put new heads on them, and you're all good. And there was a pretty cool set that was Bonner and Griffin, and they're all like fucking bloody and shit.
Which
like that.
Is hilarious because I've seen that set and I saw it at Matt Hughes' house in his basement with all his championship belts, and he likes those toys more than his belts because there's just something wrong with that man.
They're pretty dope toys though. They really are. Like I don't know what Jax does anymore. They do, you know what they do? They do those big ass figures that that are like a 5 foot tall Michelangelo. They do shit like that.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and like a 5 foot tall John Cena.
I just didn't even realize that UFC really doesn't have figures anymore. That seems like a big missed opportunity to me. I mean, I guess there's not like a lot of professional sports teams that have them and stuff either, but I feel like for your champions and whatnot, even if you only market it for a year or so, there's got to be some market for an action figure, like, John Jones drunk driving car set, like,
CM
running to Malibu pregnant Barbie and stuff. It'd be cool.
You know what they do have? They have fucking, they have pop figures. That's what they got right now. And because who the fuck doesn't, I know there's Rousey, there's Anderson Silva. I think maybe like a UFC Brock. Like there's not like a huge line of them, but they have them.
Is Brock holding his intestines in?
No, he's holding a syringe.
It's post diverticulitis, Brock. So he's doing this instead.
He's like roid raging.
Dude, speaking of merchandise, I don't know if you guys have seen Trick or Treat Studios has released their WWE masks. They're available for pre-order right now, which includes Randy Savage, which looks dope as fuck, Ultimate Warrior, which looks awesome, replicas of the Kane of Mankind masks that look really good, And a horrifying Michael Myers looking John Cena. Not intentionally horrifying, but it is scary as fuck. Like someone is going to make that a killer in their movie.
So let me get this straight. It's February, not even quite the middle of February, or else Lucha Underground would be on Netflix, right? So
hey.
Hey, you got to start somewhere.
It's going to take you to court, Justin.
Oh, I'm going to give you some information to take to court, and I mean that literally. But
oh shit!
Are you planning your Halloween costume?
Yeah, but I don't think I would really be Randy Savage for Halloween again. I've already done it once. And,
yeah, but you can put a new twist on it now.
This drunk lady thought I was a pirate. It's really weird.
I could see a Randy Savage pirate thing.
Yeah, you know, the sunglasses and the Zuba's pants really scream pirate. Because I straight up had the fucking purple Macho Man shirt. I had like the headband, I had the beard, I had glasses I was wearing all the time, and I was working at Halloween Town, so it was dark as fuck in the store and I couldn't see shit. But I had to keep those sunglasses on. And wearing a shirt that says Macho Man in giant letters. Drunk lady thought I was a pirate. Other dude said, "Oh, are you supposed to be Randy Savage?" I said, "No, I'm supposed to be fucking Kenny Loggins."
Kenny
Loggins. You
Loggins
went to the danger zone.
Exactly.
Kenny Loggins doesn't wear.
Here. It's because of you I'm standing here. I'm free! That was for the viewers. What's up?
That was for somebody. It wasn't for me. I'm crying. I'm tearing up a little bit.
That was Nate Byron's dead-looking Unabomber ass up.
That's a very.
I'm right here. I'm wide awake, motherfucker. Do something about it.
You look like a fucking police sketch, dude.
This is how I look.
I'm sorry.
Somebody has to apologize for it.
At least I don't look like you, Casey. You look like something horrible.
Casey, what happened to you yesterday? You missed out on Thunder Rosa.
Oh, dude, it was the work schedule. I get up too early, and I had to do a bunch of stuff after school. Was it a good interview? Was it great?
It was great. Thunder Rosa.
I know, I haven't heard it. I don't listen to the show.
Yeah, I don't either. That's the thing. If I'm not,
no, dude. In all honesty, she's friggin' awesome. Like, she's just such a hard worker. Like, when you hear just where she came from and all the stuff that she did to get ahead, not just even in wrestling, like to learn English and move up here and then like go to college and then like, you know, helping out people at a rehab facility. Yeah, at this Thunder Road facility where she took part of her name from. Like, it's just ridiculous. And honestly, it's like she doesn't even realize how much more she's working than everybody else out there. Like, because it's just natural for her. She's just in there just doing what she feels is right and putting
flying all over the place, going to Japan and shit on top of it too. Now,
yeah. It blew my mind when she was like, "Yeah, I've only been doing this for like over 3 years," and I was like, "What?" Yeah. I feel like she's been doing this shit for like 5, 6, 7 years at least. But I mean,
that's crazy, man. To go to Japan that early in your career is a fucking blessing.
But that's the kind of person you have to be to do it. Like, when those opportunities come up, it's not just about getting lucky. It's about being prepared for luck, is what I try to tell people.
Your shit's got to be on point, and you got to be able to deliver to get over there in the first place. And we know that her shit's on point because we've seen those Stardom matches.
Yeah, I didn't even get to talk to her about how I get bummed out that she gets, you know, that she's valeting half the time in Lucha Underground. I get bummed when she's not wrestling because I thought those first couple matches that she had were really good. She actually seemed like she had some haters that she's seen out there about it. Like, you know, I don't know too many haters. Like, I know a lot of people who are big fans of her, so I don't know. I'm sure she does have her haters out there.
Yeah, there's a reason the clap clap hiss is so over in the temple, man. Like, for real.
Yeah.
And that shit was over from like day one. Like, it was just over.
And I want to say that was our friend Nicky Mundo that created that before anyone else takes credit.
I thought it was Jimmy 5.
No, Jimmy.
No, wasn't he the Undersnaker?
No, he had a lot of Luchasaurus coming from him. He might have been the one that started Luchasaurus. Willie Mack was Undersnaker.
No.
Well, she gave Willie Mack credit for it too. I'm just wondering who did it in the temple, because I don't think Willie ran out from the back and started it in the temple.
Oh man, I don't even remember. I'm just like, fucking dodging people getting thrown at me half the time. I don't remember things.
Yeah.
What's wrestling,
what is wrestling these days?
I thought this was a fake podcast, Justin.
I know what wrestling is. It's a series of trademarks that are filed in court that pertain to intellectual property. That's what wrestling is, right? Isn't that the current definition?
Yeah,
It's
remember when the NWO happened?
I do. I vaguely remember that.
And Vince decided to sue and was kind of being a little bitch about it. And yeah. This is way worse than that.
You think
because
so?
I could see Vince's side then, because they were trying to present the NWO as being dudes from the WWE, even though they weren't, even though they eventually said on TV, no, we didn't come from up there. That's not what we were talking about when we said we're coming from New York for you.
They were very heavy. They were very, very like on the WWE, like wink, wink thing at the beginning. I mean, they even brought Virgil in and named him Vincent after Vincent McMahon.
Remember when he joined the West Texas Rednecks and they named him Curly Bill after Bill Watts?
God, I remember.
Oh, I miss the West Texas Rednecks.
Other than his own name, has been another Booker's name, because when he was Virgil, it was making fun of Dusty Rhodes.
That's awesome.
How come he's the only one who's still alive from the West Texas Rednecks?
Because he has a legendarily enormous dick.
And black don't crack.
His horse cock absorbed all the toxins from the steroids in the 80s.
How did we get into horse cocks this early in the show?
Dude,
don't we normally say that for the second hour?
Virgil, he'll talk
about wrestling.
He runs out of words to describe it. He just starts making horse noises. It's fucking hilarious.
It takes a while to run out of words, though. He's used to talking about it.
Did you already give a shout out to Urban?
Let's do it again.
But you gave one to...
Yes.
URBANHERETIC 187. Right?
I want to give a shout out to MEEFLOAF. I can't remember if he's got numbers at the end or not.
Spelling motherfucker?
What? I thought he was spelling movie phone.
Yeah, movie phone. Fucking that dude with the sexy.
Tell me what movie you want to watch.
Fucking John Wick 2, bitch.
Is Urban bringing us back some deep dish?
Urban, I think, is watching the video but commenting in the DM.
Okay, that's solid.
Thanks for supporting the chat, bro.
Yeah, that's how we
reason
pay
for
the
that.
bills.
Thanks for the thumbs up, Urban. Shit.
Whatever. I have to say this, Casey. You weren't on yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get any thumbs downs, and we got the same amount of thumbs ups.
Interesting.
Just saying. So you might have some enemies somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what? I'm gonna say to those enemies, fuck you and your Rocky Dennis looking mask.
Oh, really? Really?
They know who they are.
Now I know who they are, but I can't say.
Yeah.
I don't know at all what you're talking about, because that would be horribly offensive.
Yeah.
To Rocky Dennis.
I just can't wait to have Sid on the show, because it's gonna be fucking great. And
can we do that? Can we actually have him on? Oh, so last week I kind of teased it a little bit. The ECW that I was at, that I never actually saw the filmed version of. It was actually in Florida. It was like beginning of '99, and I think I was moving out because I just finished Full Sail. But it was like their second or third pay-per-view, and they decided to take it on the road, which was also insane. And I was like actually in Orlando at the time, so I was like, grabbed a bunch of my boys, was like, okay, this is gonna blow your freaking minds. We have to go to ECW. And Sid debuted that night. It was it was like super crazy, and Tajiri was on there.
This wasn't when the Dudleys called Sid a big dumb blonde F word, right?
No, that was I think the very next one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Balls and Axel were there.
Rest in peace.
Which was dope. I mean, it was it was like a 3-way tag match or something, and there was just trash cans and shit everywhere. And then like the headliner was like Shane Douglas and Taz or something. I don't even remember.
I hate both those fucking guys. Like now I love Taz, but back then I hated Taz so much.
Really? That gimmick was so over. Like after he stopped being the Tasmanian Devil, like that was horrible. Like I couldn't stand that gimmick. But then once he flipped over and he started coming out with the towel and all that, I was like, dude, this is my shit right here.
Yeah. I felt like Paulie had a thing where he made like all of my least favorite wrestlers champion and then never made my favorite wrestlers champion.
So what, you were a Tommy Dreamer fan then? Well, actually, Tommy got the belt for 15 minutes at one point,
he
right?
Did,
Tommy Dreamer, yeah, he won and lost on the same.
I couldn't not want someone to be champion more than Just Incredible.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
Yeah,
but they really didn't have anyone else on the roster.
Yeah,
like, wasn't Carino there at the time? Like anybody, Blue Meanie or somebody. It was,
belt wouldn't fit.
Give the belt to New Jack.
Give the fucking belt to New Jack. I love New Jack. They could have at least given him you know what? They gave him the tag belts a bunch of times. Though.
I think so. Yeah, he tagged with a few people for the belts, but
yeah,
he gave New Jack the world champion,
and then him and Mustafa first, but then him and Cronus is the Gangstanators. I love that team because I like the Gangstas and the Eliminators. Yeah, shit. The Eliminators were sweet, dude. Total Elimination. Still one of the best tag moves ever. But I heard they just really kicked the shit out of you, and it kind of sucked to take.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it would be a lot of fun, to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it was dope, and it's for the 2 months that I'll actually have the network this year, I'm pretty much going to use the network to just go through and watch lots of old ECW that I have all on VHS. I have all of these things somewhere on VHS, except some of those later pay-per-views, because by that point in time, once they've got on TNN and, you could actually watch it every week. You didn't have to tape trade to see what was going on. And then they were getting on regular pay-per-views, so you could just buy them and see it.
Here, I started getting it on TV right around when Tommy hit Raven with that sign from the audience that said, "Hey, Tommy, use my sign." He ripped it off, and he had the stop sign. That was like the first show I saw on TV. And that would have been in the hundreds, I think, somewhere like 113 or 114, somewhere in there. Yeah, it was before WCW fucking rated everyone. Like they already got.
Oh, if it was before WCW, that would probably been in like the hardcore TV 80s, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every show copies that now. Every show has done at least one stop sign spot since.
Well, they should.
Dean and Eddie were gone. Jericho just left like the show before the one I started watching. And which sucked because I wanted to see Jericho because I heard good shit about him in Mexico and shit.
See, it was on and off the air in Cleveland because like I remember, I think the first ones I saw were probably like Hardcore TV 40 or 50, somewhere in there. And then it went off in some of that era that you're talking about. And then by the time they started running it in Cleveland again, when they were actually running shows in Cleveland and coming back, like I turned it back on, it was like everybody was gone. It was like, hey, this is like a totally different thing. But it was still cool, but it was like, and I think even Sabu was having his issues with Heyman at the time, so he wasn't around, and like, and Taz was still doing the regular Tasmanian Devil gimmick, so that was lame.
When Heyman did what's happening to Pentagon basically to Sabu. Yeah.
Oh, they went back and forth every other week though. Like no one ever took them seriously because it was both of them. I mean, they were both just being dicks to each other constantly. And then they would always work it out and squash it eventually, and Sabu would come back. And then he put the gold on Sabu like a day later. Like, man,
I loved Sabu. He was, he was the reason he kind of watched at first.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Byron, I remember fucking watching him debut in WCW. And I'm like, dude, you got to see this guy. He fucking rules.
He did one triple jump moonsault, and then that was like it, right?
No, he was cool in WCW.
He murdered himself on a table because Alex Wright moved.
Oh, I remember that.
I'm like, what the fuck, Das Wunderkind? Can't you just take a table shot?
They had a match, and then when the match was done, he's like, let's do another table spot outside the ring.
But before that, he said, hey, man, here's Alex Wright. If you want to know what the Germans are all about, pick me. We'll have a hell of a victory. I promise.
Victory. Come on, that's Russian, isn't it? Isn't victory Russian?
It's how he said it in WCW Thunder, man. I'm just throwing that in there for the Thunder fans.
I will never forgive Hacksaw for ruining Berlin. Berlin was a dope character, and Hacksaw no-sold him the whole match. It's like Hacksaw had Jewish friends or something.
I'm sure he probably did.
I fucking loved Alex Wright because that's the one wrestler's dance that I could actually do.
You couldn't do the Norman Smiley Big Wiggle?
I could, but not as good as him.
Yeah, no one can do the Big Wiggle like Norman Smiley.
Norman Smiley was treated as a joke, and Norman Smiley is no joke, my friends. Like, he was, oh man, dude, if you ever get to see him as Black Magic in fucking Mexico, it's great. I don't know how much there is out there, but I've seen a couple matches and they were dope.
Nope, Norman Smiley is the man, and then he came and got over by doing the Big Wiggle and screaming in hardcore matches.
And he
Good for him.
Conquest, the fucking chicken wing.
I mean, you didn't feel like he was over before that, though?
Not in WCW.
Nah. I remember, like, right when they were changing the character, and he told all the announcers that they had to pronounce his name Norman Smiley.
That was funny. I remember all that. God, that was when I used to, like, listen to what was it, Borash and Ryder doing that pre-show on the internet?
Yeah, it was the WCW Live.
I mean, that was like the year I got internet, I think.
I remember,
was like, oh, there's all this stuff on here, and I don't have to like actually have dirt sheets mailed to me.
See, that's how me and Byron were like so into the AOL wrestling areas that it kind of counted as the internet, but not really. And
because it was AOL. God.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that were on it that are like, you know, that have sites and shit now. Like I remember Mike Johnson was on there. It's kind of a dick.
And sports guy for a second.
Fucking Bill Simmons, dude, ran the wrestling area, and now he's like Mr. ESPN and shit.
He gave us our own message board on the sports guy message board thing on AOL for like a minute before he realized it was a bad idea.
Yeah, before he realized we were two like 15-year-olds fucking talking about midget wrestling, he gave us a message board. But yeah,
look, there's nothing wrong with talking about midget wrestling.
We didn't actually talk about midget wrestlers. We just added ITO to names we knew.
Yeah,
Hokulito.
Yeah, it was kind of all we talked about in Spanish class too, which is why our Spanish is both fucking terrible right now.
Mucho bien.
As long as you can understand what Tejano's saying, you're all good.
Mucho bien, Gooey.
Dude, did you watch Face Off, Byron?
I don't know.
Oh, goddamn.
Dude, we're trying to put the mask back in Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
We already talked about the mask earlier.
There's a reason for this. Not that, man. God damn it. Son of a bitch. We'll get to that, though, by the way. I'm going to talk about Face Off, whether you like it or not, Byron. How about that?
We talk about NXT. I watched half of it and then was like, oh.
We purposely talked about WWE on yesterday's show so that Casey wouldn't have to today.
I just did my review.
Look, he's reading. That was the whole review?
That was the whole review.
Grimjack.
Oh, okay. Grimjack. It's not Iron Fist?
No, dude. I bought so much Grimjack out of the quarter bins, and I haven't read like half of it. And it's like such an awesome comic that I want the movie rights to. I want to write the movie version of Grimjack. It's awesome.
Hey, I'm certainly not going to stop you.
I don't know who legally owns it. That's the thing. Like, I see all these. I've been reading a lot of horror comics lately, and I've been wanting to do adaptations of like half of the stories, and I should enunciate horror comics, not horror.
Not horror comics.
Yeah, and some of the stories are so great, but I have no idea who fucking owns them, and they would be pretty amazing. I'm still trying to get my pitch together for Clive Barker anyway, so because that's
I want like. People, Casey won't even tell me what this pitch is. I want to know because I bet it's some good stuff.
He told me, but I forgot it because I don't care.
It's actually an idea I worked on in grad school, and like no one understood it, so I had to change it, and then it sucked. But now I figured out the one little piece that was missing, and it's there.
You got the nugget. That's what I felt like when I figured out my Universal title thing that you didn't hear me rant about yesterday. That the Universal title needs Goldberg and Lesnar to have it because it needs a title history. Like there's just no legacy on the belt. It needs some names attached to it.
Harley Race.
I feel that they should only
and a Briscoe.
They should only defend the title at Universal Studios, but Hollywood, not Florida, because they're not fucking TNA. So, like, they could come here, right? And, like, when Jaws is popping out of the water and shit, because fucking Florida doesn't have it, so East Coast, suck it.
Dude, TNA has got to start taping on the road. They have to get out of that studio. That audience is killing them. It's the worst thing about that show.
If you were filming in the Old Guts Arena, you would want to stay there, too, because of the history of the aggro crag.
What were you saying, Byron?
I could go to TNA tapings. It just dawned on me.
What do you mean it just dawned on you?
Dude?
You could be going to NXT tapings, too.
Yeah.
How close are you to Universal?
Like an hour.
Have you gone yet?
I went to Disney World.
How far was that? That's like an hour also, right? They're both in Orlando?
Yeah, Universal is 15 minutes away from Disney World.
I'm on the island out here.
Disney World, we were like on private shuttles and like not allowed to see other theme parks.
See, when I was in Florida, I would do the opposite. I would get the hell out of tourist town, out of Orlando, and I would drive out to Cocoa Beach and out in that area where you're at just to hang out and sit by the water and do fun stuff.
Cocoa Beach, Florida, home of the model Rick Martel. Was he the one that was their hometown, or was he Vero Beach? No, Vero Beach, Florida was fucking Terry Taylor, the fucking rooster.
Which they're right next to each other. Yeah. Vero Beach is the next city over. I would go to spring training down there, and we would stay in Cocoa Beach and go to Vero Beach for spring training stuff.
I'd rather be fucking model than a rooster.
Wait, so Byron fucking won. He totally got us off a face-off, Casey. You see how he did that?
It's his favorite toy line, Monster High. Remember all your fucking Draculaura and fucking Gulia toys, bro?
Byron is gonna no-sell us on this whole thing. He's just a dick.
I'm looking up and I don't want to go to a house because I don't sit a bunch of parents asking so their kids can watch.
Yeah. You're not talking about Face Off, and you sound like a robot right now to me. But
yeah, really.
Yeah.
So anyway, on Face Off, it was if you know the Monster High stuff, like if you've got a female child between 4 and 14, you probably know what Monster High is.
Dude, I know some dudes who collect Monster High, like macho dudes. Like
I'm gonna talk about those dudes in a minute. not judging. Like like I know a dude he likes girls and he collects Monster High. No, but he wasn't in that cross section of judges or whatever that they had on this episode then, because clearly those.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Yeah.
Can I talk about those? So one of the twists this week was that the regular 3 judges panel were not judging, and they were using a focus group to judge this week. And this focus group, I'm almost positive, was made out of rejected bronies.
Yeah, maybe.
These were all people that the My Little Pony fans were ashamed to have them be a part of. Like these are grown adult people, by the way. And which is fine. Like, look, I got toys sitting right here. Like I got all sorts of stuff sitting here. Like I got a freaking Cena sitting here. What else do I got sitting here? I got a freaking I got a Taker here. You can't be all mad.
Oh no, dude, what was that last one? I didn't see it.
Oh, the one before?
Yeah, I didn't see him.
Squeena.
I still can't see him.
You can't see me. You can't see me.
I had to do it.
That's good. You got me.
Did you not see Toy Story, you fucking monster? Take him out of the package. Jesus Christ.
I only take the female ones out of the packages.
that's disturbing as fuck. But dude, Face Off made me sad at first because they go to Mattel, and I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna do a He-Man challenge, bro. They're gonna fucking Sig's gonna make Fisto or something. Like that would have been fucking dope. Like, here's a He-Man character. You gotta make fucking Snout Spout. But no, it was Monster High.
No, and what did Sig? Sig got Laguna Blue though, which is one of my favorites, and then I like the Draculaura. Which she's like one of the
Yeti Voldemort, because I fucking didn't.
Oh my god, I want to talk about that too. So, but like the characters that are cool are like Claudine Wolf, Laguna Blue, Draculaura, but then they threw in some rando characters like Scalita Calavers, or whatever her name is, like who's like
pretty cool.
Came out like really cool. Like I was talking to the Sexy Armpit, who's he does the Purple Stuff podcast. He's a blogger, dude from New Jersey, big Monster High collector. He said that the skeleton one was his favorite of the show.
I didn't feel that way. Who did that? Ben and Evan, right?
I think so. Yeah. It was Ben and Evan. And
yeah, Ben and Evan did it.
I think the creature girl that won deserved to win. Like I thought that was my favorite one.
100%, and that was Sig
and
right?
George.
Yeah.
Which man, we got to talk about those dudes, because not only were they completely unfamiliar with the fucking property, they were completely unfamiliar with beauty makeup and had to practice on each other before they did the final makeup, because that's a recurring thing in all of the seasons. Is a lot of the people have a hard time with beauty makeup because they came in to fucking make zombies and shit. Like they're not.
They want to do ugly and not fashion stuff.
And the show kind of caters to a more versatile artist, and so you need to be able to do that stuff too. And they fucking pulled it off. Like that was a cool makeup. And it's
to me, like this was the one not to F up, because they flat out said, like the Mattel people were saying, like, we want to look at this as a test for possibly doing a live action movie. If you're in this industry, that's what you want. Like, oh, I get to be the lead designer on taking some toys and making them into a live action movie. That's like the holy grail. And everybody who messed up, like, I was so mad that this was not an elimination week. I was just like, oh, I just because this is your career, this is your passion, exactly what this challenge is for work. Like, look, it might not be your passion to make basically monster Barbie dolls, but at the same time, it's your passion to have major toy manufacturers telling you to do something for a feature film.
Yeah, especially when Mattel is licensing so much of their shit for movies right now. Like, it's something that could really happen.
Like for real, it could. I mean, like those Netflix movies that the kids watch, they're like, you walk down the street and you'll see kids are just watching this Monster High stuff everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the last one got a theatrical release for a little bit too, and they've got a deal with DreamWorks that are doing like He-Man and She-Ra shit now, and so it's and a Barbie movie, of course, the one with Amy Schumer, and yeah, it's gonna be a big deal. You want to get on their good side. Not that you're gonna have to do like heavy appliance work on a Barbie movie, but He-Man you would.
Well, exactly. So Adam and Logan went the full Voldemort.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and the thing that I think is funny about it is because Sig and George did like conceptually the same thing. They wanted to not just do makeup; they wanted to do kind of a full application thing, do what they do best, and create a whole, piece out of it.
Yeah,
make it a little bit more monstery, and somehow, the Laguna Blue completely worked doing the Merwoman thing. And what did Adam and Logan have? They had the
Yeti girl.
I don't even know her name. Oh,
Abominable or something.
Yeah, Abby Abominable or whatever. It was just a super fail. Like they forgot the whole part where it's supposed to be a cute doll still.
I think that they were trying to go for like a who knows, like Grinch, and they ended up doing Voldemort instead. Because they wanted to go very fucking, like, I wouldn't even say Voldemort, I'd say straight up Lord of the Rings orc. in drag.
So
yeah, and they're talented dudes. It was just a weird concept to try to get Simeon and Cute on the same character.
it did not work. It failed. It
And-
totally failed.
And even like when Mr. Westmore started talking to him, he's like, "Yeah, you guys are kind of fucked." And but you see some of the people were able to turn around stuff like Team Merwolf. They had to scrap their whole face and just do straight up beauty makeup, and they made it into the final looks, which is pretty crazy. Like they had to rip the face off in final works and final.
Now, which one was what character? Were they the ones doing the Claudine?
Is that the Cleopatra? No, they did the Cleopatra.
Oh, the
Mummy.
Cleo Denial one. And I actually really liked that at the end. And it was strange because I think they didn't get as much credit because it looked the most human, but their character also started that way.
And I give them props for doing a cool makeup for a mummy because, as you guys know, I think a mummy is the shittiest monster ever.
Yeah, which is why that was so hard. They had the hardest one, and I thought it actually came out really good. And the skin wrap thing with the glyphs on it was super awesome.
Yeah, that was cool and looked really realistic, but still like in the realm of the dolls. It was pretty cool. Like I thought this was an awesome. As much as I bitch about it not being He-Man, I thought this was an awesome competition this week. I thought it really.
Yeah,
sides, you know.
I thought it was a perfect competition, and definitely the winners deserve to win. What were some of the other ones? Emily and Tyler, they got Draculaura. I did not really like the Draculaura because I've seen the figure, I've seen some of those movies, and I just thought that what they did didn't quite embody the character.
Because she was
And
Tootsie or what?
No, it made her look like she was the quirky bestie that was supposed to be playing the background, but she's like a star character. She's going to have to be like, if you're really doing it for a movie, and those teeth, the teeth didn't work for me at all. But the Batwing clavicle thing was badass. Like there were certain parts of it that they did that were awesome. But like to be the main,
like that bat clavicle, I'd like to see that worked in with like a scary vampire. Like I think that would look pretty badass.
Well, and I think you go more cool goth chick and cute. You know, you want to go a little more Suicide Girl than they went. I think that's just my impression of the character. I mean, you don't want to go full Suicide Girl because then they would really be for me and not for kids.
Then you would be selling brats to people again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then,
which is weird because this.
So the Skeleta.
Yeah.
You liked it? I didn't think it was bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's like we see so much Day of the Dead stuff here in Los Angeles that I really felt like the face especially should have gone further.
I thought that the arms and everything looked cool with the bones, but the face looked kind of drag queen to me.
Yeah, like the face just didn't feel. I thought it was cool. Like, and technique wise, if you're learning something from the show, that was definitely the biggest, like, oh, that's a sweet technique that somebody's going to jack tomorrow for sure.
Yeah. And speaking of drag queen, the Venus flytrap one with the painted eyebrows.
Yeah.
That deserved to get slammed for the eyebrows.
I thought so too. And who did that one?
He looked like the fucking Amazon from pro wrestling for the NES, and I don't think that's what they were going for. Look, oh shit, Justin, Byron, are you there?
I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm watching Stardom. What's up?
Oh,
what's going on in Stardom?
I'm watching the Io Shirai Viper match from a little bit ago last month.
Oh, that's a good match. I watched that. Anyway, so next week, I think that Adam and Logan are definitely in trouble if they don't pull something amazing out.
They're good though. I don't think this was their week, but they're pretty good. I think they can hopefully bring it back.
Well, yeah, Kat and Nico didn't really impress this week, but I thought that they were okay. And then
yeah.
It was the Rachel Engage's Venus McFlytrap thing that was also not so bueno. So
I'd say that was my bottom look.
All right. What Byron? What do you want to talk about?
Huh?
What do you want to talk about, Byron? I know you got something to talk about.
I want to talk about the Toxic Avenger. It's such a great movie, guys.
He looks like he's so sad now, Casey. Like that was it. That was the whole face-off bit, man. It was 12 minutes, literally.
Justin, I want to read you my manifesto.
Do I want to get into Lucha yet?
Let's just do it. Let's get it over.
Let me invite a guest here and see if this guest will come in and explain this to me.
Sit.
I wish. I don't know if this guest is available right now, though.
I don't think Sid would do a very good job explaining Lucha to us.
He would. He's the ruler of the squirrels.
He'd be like, "Those luchadors made me twice the man I am, but I have half the brain they do."
All right, I'm gonna give this guest a couple of minutes before we talk.
Hey, what's up, Casey?
I don't know. Dude, this internet is horrible today, man.
Yours is bad. I feel like mine is okay now.
You keep robotic disappearing on us, Justin. Like you're freezing. I feel like I'm talking to Max Headroom on occasion.
I think it's your internet now, because Byron is moving seamlessly, and I feel like I'm moving seamlessly. So I actually think it's you now.
Maybe. I mean, you're the one glitching for both of us, but I'm happy to blame Casey.
I'm still hearing everything you're saying, though.
I'm a big Max Headroom fan, so like,
drink a Pepsi.
Dude, the TV show was awesome. Did you guys?
I loved it. I was so okay. Since you brought it up, I'm going to go there. I used to have this huge issue with ABC because of what they did to Max Headroom and Twin Peaks. Like, angry, because Max Headroom was so good. It was my favorite show. And then they canned it. And then Twin Peaks was so good, and it was my favorite show. And then they just forced David Lynch to ruin it.
Oh, God.
And then they wondered why the ratings didn't come back. It's like you forced him to tell everyone basically to stop watching.
Yeah, they're like, okay, well, this is who Bob is. We'll talk about something else. No, it's one of those things though, like if I talk to someone about Twin Peaks, I'm like, well, you can kind of stop after a while, but you should watch it. Like, it's good, and then they're like, when should you stop? And I'm like, oh, you'll know when it's right.
Like, dude, Fox Mulder in drag. That's all I got to say. Like, you want to watch that second season. Trust me. I know it gets a little off kilter, but man, and when you get to that finale episode with
right? Am I right about that?
I gotta say, you gotta watch Fire Walk with Me too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that was an awesome fucking movie, and David Lynch is a big influence on me. I do not write movies like his though. I need things to make sense to people, but
such a narrow view of the world.
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not that good at transcendental meditation yet, which is where David Lynch gets a lot of his ideas. I have his book on it. It's pretty awesome, actually.
I helped him write it. So thank you for the compliment.
The hell you did. All right, I'm going to give you my quick UFC 208 preview.
I was going to bust out my David Lynch impression, but it's too late.
Oh, you can you can do that.
The time's passed.
Damn it.
I always blow it.
Byron, get me some typing paper and some pie. Oh, God, that was horrible. Never mind.
This is why we keep Casey around, you guys. This is the best stuff. If you're missing out on this stuff, you just don't know what you're missing out on. I mean, the Page, the David Lynch, the occasional Steve.
Oh, yeah.
I can handle the Steve Austin.
Yeah, Steve Austin is a little gravelly.
Price check. On a
price check on a jackass.
How much was he?
They never answered. Man. They didn't answer Stone Cold.
You think he would get an answer?
I'm still waiting for one of our listeners to buy me the Japanese Stone Cold figure that can flip you off. What the fuck, people? It's only $50.
Hey, check this out. See, I'm wearing my Gleason's gym shirt today. I was stoked. I logged into Facebook, and on my Facebook Live, they were doing the open workouts at Gleason's gym today in Brooklyn. I was just like, that's so dope.
Bang zoom to the moon, Alice.
That is a dope.
Mm-hmm.
We lost him. He was saying that was a dope Honeymooners reference. I
agree with what he was saying.
Yeah.
Dicks.
Show was great. That episode where he lost his job and then they never fucking told you how he got his job back.
Not that Gleason. Gleason's gym
how he
in
got it
Brooklyn. Guys are dicks. Anyway, it was just cool that they were in there. Like the whole UFC open workouts thing was at that gym.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do you go to the gym, Byron?
I've had bronchitis for 2 weeks.
Sorry, Justin. You keep cutting out, so we're trying to continue the conversation. And Byron started talking about bronchitis instead of mixed martial arts.
I'm answering your question, Casey. You asked me a question. I wanted to be thoughtful and respond to it.
Was it really me cutting out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what, Byron? I appreciate you responding and answering the question, being thoughtful with your response, unlike that rude supermarket worker that didn't give the price check on the jackass.
Yes.
Casey, Holly Holm, Jermaine Durand to me.
I hope Holly Holm loses. I do. I don't like her face.
What's wrong with her face? Just the freckles? I got freckles all over the place. You don't like my face?
No, she's got like bitchy resting face, but like dumb resting face. I don't know. Like, is that a thing?
I don't know. She's such a nice person, though. She's
she's probably the nicest person in the world. But you know who else? You know what being nice gets you in a business where you're supposed to maim your opponent until they can't take it anymore, Justin? It gives you that little slice of a conscience. No. You need a maniac killer like her opponent.
You think Jermaine is kind of nice too? I don't know that she's a maniac killer either. I mean, that's part of why I think they're such a good matchup.
We got to talk about the real new star of the women's division, Sagat from Street Fighter.
Sagat.
Sexy Star is in MMA, right?
No, she's in boxing. But you didn't even want me to talk about the boxing gym.
Tiger knee.
She's fighting with the mask again, which is very smart. I'm happy for her.
And she's wrestling Taya, and that doesn't sound like boxing. Just saying.
Just watch her throw some fists of fury.
Dude, she can
Close
break
fists are
walls.
illegal in professional wrestling, bro. You're not supposed to punch people. God. I hope Marty's the ref and he says, open up those fists.
Open them up.
Palm strikes.
Dude, Pancrase Styles just slapped the shit out of him.
Boss Root.
That hurts more than a punch.
That's the best thing about some of that Pancrase stuff when they're doing the open hand. It's like, it's not just painful looking, it's humiliating.
Yeah.
If Boss Root triple.
I read too many exposés on Pancrase to get into it anymore.
Well, it's totally different now. I mean, now it's pretty much just like, MMA light. It's not like the old.
Too. Like, I mean, it was work then, like a lot of the matches. But I don't know, dude, because fucking shoot style is awesome. Like, I got Byron watching some Takada matches, like Takada Vader. Guy was so fucking great as a fake shoot fighter, and then he became a real one and fucking sucked.
That happened to a lot of those guys.
Yeah, that kind of killed Japanese wrestling for a while, actually.
And then you've got guys like Josh Barnett who will try to murder you in the ring.
Fuck yeah.
Because he's
fucking Sakuraba, who was a pro wrestler first and is a pro wrestler once again, and kneed Nakamura in the face so hard that I thought he died. It was great.
So what I was gonna say about Holly Holm is that
oh shit, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm just you're allowed to get off base. It's fine. That's how we roll around here. Anyway, so
yeah.
It's my job to get it back, man. If I can't get it back, then I just suck. Fuck it. I think it's Holly's fight to lose. I mean, I know you want her to lose, but I think it's her fight to lose. I mean, weight-wise, they're both really 140s. You know, Jermaine maybe walks around a little bit bigger, but I think Holly is naturally just as big. So, I mean, I really think if Smart has a lot of ways to win the fight, but I'm hoping that the higher weight class, she doesn't do like the McGregor thing and get lazy with the training, and you know how he did with Diaz the first time, where
yeah, the one that counted.
Well, yeah, it's just like, you know, he changed stuff up. It just goes to show you, it's like you can fight at a different weight class, but you can't be changing your game up. You can't be out there playing whatever, cut weight. You need to be getting on the treadmill or something, you know, and not just losing weight. Maybe you hit the weights or something else, but you still need to be doing that, putting that work in.
That kind of shit's brutal, fucking with your weight like that. Like, it's not.
And there's just ways to do it. I mean, Rumble Johnson was all the way down at what, 170 or 155 at one point. Can you imagine that? Seeing that dude right now?
Jesus Christ. Hey, as long as he pisses clean, I'm not saying anything. But that dude's huge.
So far, he's figured out how to do that. And that's the way I'll state that. He's figured out how to do that. I don't know, man, because like he's another one of those guys. Like I met him one time or something, was introduced to him, and it was like at the time he was a 155 fighter or something ridiculous, or a 170 fighter, and he was a behemoth. It was like, how do you fight at 170? I'm walking around at 185, 190 right now, standing next to you, and you are double my size. Double. Yeah. Just yoked, huge, neck out to here, arms, like everything. Like, how the hell are you?
God, like, I know I'm a fucking beanpole, but I walk around at 175, 180. And, you know, it's like, fuck, man.
I mean, those guys fight at those sizes. It's ridiculous. Like, I never understood Cowboy going to 155. Like, Cowboy's my size. I couldn't do it. But whatever. I just find it strange. So anyway, what's the other fight? Oh, so Anderson Silva versus Derek Brunson now.
How dare you forget Anderson Silva?
No, I'm not forgetting. That's huge. And I don't necessarily know who's going to win. I don't think it's an easy fight for either guy. I'm a little
worried for Anderson in this one. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, like, I mean, DB could definitely put it on him.
Yeah.
I think, though, if Anderson does like a little bit of the GSP thing, like stays on the outside at first, just tries to use his counterpunch and kind of lures Derek Brunson into, but then goes into GSP mode and like reverses him on a clinch on the cage, or, you know, plays a little bit of that lay and pray style of being on the top, working the ground, or working clinches and reversing them a lot, and then staying on the outside and pawing at him a lot. I think he wins. But if he tries to play jiu-jitsu game from the bottom, if he tries to stand at range with Brunson,
I just don't know if he can do it if he does those things.
I think what Justin's saying is that if Anderson Silva wants to win, he has to have a very not entertaining fight.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, he has to have a smart fight. And I think at this point, after losing to Bisping and, you know, all the other stuff he's gone through, I think that he will play it smart. He has to. He has to regain a little bit of that glory, and he doesn't need to have a flashy victory to do that.
Right.
I mean, being on the other end of DC's beatdown, you know, a weight class up, coming off the couch, and then being on the other end of Michael Bisping's greatest win, probably. I mean, the Luke Rockhold thing was great, but I think the Anderson thing might have been a bigger deal in retrospect.
Yeah, I just really don't like Luke Rockhold, so I liked that one more because I like Anderson Silva. I don't like seeing him lose, man.
I like Luke Rockhold a little bit, but I do like watching him lose.
I think you're thinking of Angelico and getting them confused because they're twins.
Oh, they do. They are very pretty white men, aren't they?
Yeah, because we all love Angelico. Like, he's the best.
Hey,
He's
there's
South African.
they are. There's also going to be a rare crocodile sighting at this UFC. Jacare is popping up to take on Bosch, the Barbarian. I think I think this is a squash match. I don't see Jacare doing anything but destroying Tim Boach. I think Tim Boach is a really good mid-card guy, but Jacare is on the next level. But yet, this is the thing with Jacare. This is what we fights like every year. He'll come demolish some mid-tier guy and somehow won't ever find himself in the title picture. It's like I feel like he's at odds with creative. He's got heat with somebody in creative, except it's not wrestling. But that's what it feels like.
It does, because I don't see him in big fights very often when he's the fucking man. But I do gotta say, Tim Bosch, the Barbarian, if he loses this fight, he's gonna have to start calling himself the Destroyer instead. And yes, that's a Conan reference.
Oh man, part 2. But then if he has a comeback, can he be Conan the King?
Maybe, or he can be the shitty remake if he loses the comeback. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck.
Arnold has to make that movie now, right? I mean, like, Apprentice hasn't done all that great. You know, he's battling with Trump. Like, there'd be too much life left in the Terminator series. He's got to go make Conan the King, right?
I might know a little too much, but I don't think it's going to happen now. They're busy making video games with fucking swinging dick physics. I don't know if you guys saw the Conan MMO, but so like character creation shows the characters crucified on the Tree of Woe.
Mm-hmm.
And but with no clothes. So if you're a dude, that means, hey, there's a dick size slider for creating your character, first of all. But not only that, but when you make Virgil, it's swinging in the breeze. It's amazing. I
don't know if that's awesome or the grossest thing ever.
I messaged my friend with that works in the office with those guys, and sent him the article and said, "Tell them nice work from me."
Okay, so then I guess it's cool.
What I need to be associated with the Conan franchise that people give me shit for loving because it's all half naked dudes all the time. Now it's fully naked dudes with their dicks swinging around. Good times.
Well, I mean, it's no worse than watching Spartacus. Good Lord.
Or wrestling.
Spartacus and this are worse than wrestling. I mean, depending on, you know, where you're standing when Cage comes out.
Moose knuckle. I'm not a machine. I'm a moose knuckle.
Can you say that on the internet?
All I know is that if you're sitting ringside at PWG, he gets on the ring post and he throws a moose knuckle on your face.
Yeah, that was a little. I was regretting the front row seats.
Yeah, maybe you guys need to buy cheaper seats next time.
Maybe standing room, way in the back, where fucking nuts can't reach your face.
It's funny that Lucha Underground actually photoshops the moose knuckle out and their pictures of Cage.
It's frightening that you know enough about his moose knuckle to know that it's photoshopped, because I have never noticed this before. I've never had this problem.
I hope poor Rob doesn't have to do that shit. I hope it's like an intern or something.
They hire it. They go like on Fiverr or someone, and they give some like Indian child $5.
Shop out this moose knuckle, my son, and then yeah. That sounds like one of those jobs you get from Amazon Mechanical Turks, named after fucking Byron because he runs internet sweatshops. Yeah, Byron.
No, it's I just made it up.
All right, let me get the last fight. I'm not going to talk about all the undercard ones, but my boy Glover Teixeira, Tap Out alumnus, versus the 205 weight class.
Justin,
this is basically
say versus again because you cut out.
Versus Jared Cannonier.
Glover versus.
Did that go through that time, Jared Cannonier?
It did.
The killer gorilla. The dude is a fucking beast. Like, this is basically, to me, the fight for who gets to be the gatekeeper at 205. You know what
I feel like,
which is not envious position, but
Killa Gorilla is the one of the best fucking names. And I feel like they should have given him more squashes first just so they could sell some merch. But, you know, it's fucking Reebok, so who gives a shit, right? Never mind. Fucking Reebok.
hold on one sec. So you think Jared over Glover?
No. I think Glover's going to kill him. And I think they should have given him some squash matches before this so that they could sell Killa Gorilla t-shirts and I could buy one. But no one's going to want to buy a t-shirt of someone who gets Glover's fist through their face.
Hold on one sec here. Byron, talk to Casey because I just got an email from somebody that I need to reply to.
Okay.
Hey, so Casey, I'm going through the MMM show hashtag right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing my old tweets from WWE 2K17. Right now, I'm wearing the Billy Gunn shorts with your face on the crotch, and I'm beating up Alberto. Not Del Rio, Alberto, our friend from Lucha Underground.
Oh, fucking DJ Alberto. The fucking rules. Alberto Muerto.
Alberto Muerto.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm sledgehammering him after a match.
That's not very nice. He's a good dude, man. I fucking love that guy. I hit him with a sledgehammer. Hit fucking W with a hammer, bro. Come on.
We had some back and forths. Oh, here's me. Oh, there's the Kinshasa.
Kinshasa.
One of my favorite things was just to play late at night and then upload videos of me just destroying people I knew.
That's the fun thing about Career Invasion, really. I haven't played the game in the longest time, dude. Fucking Yakuza 0 has taken over my game playing. Like, I can see right now that I have played 50 hours. I've had this game like a fucking week.
Oh, I just power drove you outside, and I'm wearing the John Cena shirt with your face on it.
Dude, you got to see that John Cena mask. It's fucking horrifying. If you go to trickortreatstudios.com, oh my, he looks like fucking Michael Myers, dude. It wasn't intentional either. Like, the other masks are so good, and his is so creepy.
Is it like Bill Shatner? Like they used his mask, but they just painted it?
Yeah. You know, they turned it inside out too, I think. But it's funny because Trick or Treat is selling the Shatner mask now too. So they have the rights to the original Captain Kirk mask that was turned into Michael Myers. People have been wanting it. Like the actual Captain Kirk mask from Don Post Studios goes for a shitload of money because it wasn't exactly a good seller. Because, like, say you're buying a Star Trek mask, right? You're gonna want like the cool fucking alien, or at the very least Spock. You're not gonna want Captain Kirk.
No.
So they didn't really. A lot of them didn't get ordered, and so because people were buying like the Gorn and shit like that, and it's pretty cool, man. I know a little too much about masks right now. It's probably scaring some of the listeners.
Yeah. What else do you know about masks?
Hey,
what's up?
Eric Van Wagenen.
Well, and the room
How's it
comes to a
going?
screeching halt.
We weren't talking about you. I swear.
Well, what were you guys talking about? Go ahead and tell the man what exactly came to a screeching halt, because I think you may have just saved a lot of listeners.
We were talking about
masks, and I was looking up the MMM show hashtag and ignoring him.
There was this. There's a John Cena mask that just came out. That's horrifying.
Now we're gonna go through it again.
Oh, jeez. John Cena. I thought you can't see John Cena.
Hey, they
never heard of him.
With, they got a Macho Man out and a Roddy Piper that's fucking amazing. So it's like, okay.
I'm more of a Piper guy.
It's a good mask. It's a little weird looking. He looks a little bit like Rodney Dangerfield and like Roddy Piper's baby, but it passes.
A little like Michael Myers from the old Halloween movies, I'm guessing.
That's what I was telling these guys the John Cena looks like. Almost exactly. It's terrifying. Except the hair.
Sorry to reference a 40-year-old movie, but somebody will get it.
I used to intern in Halloween.
Yeah, maybe some of us 40-year-olds.
I'm 25, but I still get it.
Okay, good.
Dude, we went to high school 25 years ago. What are you talking about?
Whatever.
That's
I was
almost.
out of college 25 years ago. I don't know what you're talking about.
There are a bunch of youngsters.
So anyway,
So what's
what
going
do you
on,
guys
brother?
want to know?
What do we want to know, or what can you tell us that we want to know? Those are two separate questions, I think.
Oh, it's crazy in Lucha Land these days, isn't it?
It is.
Probably, I was gonna say it's probably crazier for you than it is for me, but I don't know. When I open up my DMs these days, I'm like, no, it's pretty crazy in general.
Actually,
crazy.
I welcome the Lucha craziness because it gives me like 45 minutes away from the real craziness that's happening in the world today that I'm also connected with, and so I welcome the break away from my news feed just to take my mind off of our impending doom.
Okay, so let's play a little game called Correct Me If I'm Wrong. How about that? Because maybe that's the easiest way to figure out what we're actually curious about.
Okay.
Can we do a Correct Me If I'm Wrong about Netflix?
Sure.
All right, so here's what I've seen happen, and you can correct whatever of this that you are at liberty to correct. A little podcast that's out there that I won't even mention. I'm not even gonna put them over, but there's any podcast out there that reported that not only was the Netflix deal done, but that it would be released on February 15th, and then lots of other. Oh, okay. Correct me if I'm wrong.
There was never a date given for the release. I can tell you that there is a deal. In the the long and short of it is that our long Netflix drought will be over, but it's a lot of material, and it's the delivery process and the QC process. And they kick back shows that maybe don't have the right specs. There's a back and forth when anyone and I come from a post-production world, and I was a post-production supervisor for a number of years. And there's a lag time from when you deliver material to when it actually makes air. And we're a little bit in that world right now. People want to think they know things that they don't necessarily know, and I would tell you that and if it doesn't come from the El Rey network or the El Rey network's social media sites, or directly from Dorian Rodon or myself, or maybe Krista Joseph, that it's not that reliable. It's usually secondhand. It's somebody heard something from somebody. So the long and short of it is yes, we'll be on Netflix soon. The date has not been announced because I don't know that it's officially been made by Netflix. So February 15th, well, I'm sure that all our materials will be delivered by then, but whether they'll be able to get it, and I think they roll out new shows every 2 weeks or something like that. I think they do so I don't know.
But they also usually announce at the end of the month what that 2 week cycle for the following month is going to be.
And because we weren't on that announcement, I wouldn't expect us to be in the February 15th. But I don't want anybody to look at that and say, oh, we've been taken for a ride again. That's not the case. The date was never announced by anybody, myself or anybody included. It's really just a matter of delivering the materials to Netflix and them taking the time to put it through their QC and then load it on their multiple platforms. Now, I'm not privy to, I'm sure that the questions that are going to start rolling in is this going to be on Netflix Australia? Is this going to be on Netflix UK? Is this going to be on Netflix Canada? I don't know the exact territories, but I do believe that it's multiple. And I think that also the season 1 original Spanish episodes will be available too. So that's a cool thing.
Well,
nice.
Now
with Hugo and Vamp doing the Spanish commentary,
which I actually watched a ton of because on Time Warner Cable, back when it was Time Warner Cable and it was carrying El Rey, when those two things were actually happening, the on-demand versions that were on there are only the ones in Spanish. They didn't have the English ones at first on their replays, so I would go back with I missed an episode of Lucha Underground. I was actually watching them in the Spanish version. It was awesome. It was fun.
And those are the season 1s. For season 2, we didn't do original Spanish versions. But we did for season 1, and I know those will be available. And if you haven't heard Hugo call a wrestling match, it's worth the effort. Even if you don't speak Spanish, he's able to tell the story. Whether you speak Spanish or not, it's worth it.
Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but Netflix Canada actually tweeted at me and Lucha Blog that they were going to release it on the 15th of February in Canada. But
And then they deleted the tweet.
But then I think, yeah, but I deleted. So I don't know. Maybe somebody in Canada was just off.
I think Netflix is it's sort of its own sort of entity. It sort of goes on its own timetable with its own rules, and it acts like a network with these big, press release rollouts and stuff like that. They kind of do things kind of their own way, and it's effective. I don't know. Hey, let me know on the 15th. But as far as I know, that date somebody pulled out of thin air, and everybody took it as gospel truth. I don't think that's accurate. But I do know that Netflix is going to happen.
I'm kind of losing you a little bit there, Eric. But let me see if you can hear me.
I said well, I can't even see you at this point. But it's just basically, yes, it's happening. But I've never heard February 15th is the date that it's going to air. I haven't asked about it.
Gotcha. So you guys heard it from Eric. Yeah, your connection was breaking up a little bit, Eric. You're still there a little bit.
50-50.
Yeah. So let me try this. Let me ask you again. We'll play. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm trying to licensing. In general, there's basically AAA through Lucha Libre FMV LLC has licensed to MGM Factory Made El Rey Network the rights to use the character IPs basically for the characters they were sending up to you guys from Mexico. Is that accurate? Just starting there. Did I totally lose Eric on the most complicated question of all time?
How convenient.
You gotta love modern technology, y'all.
Wow. How about repeat the question but slower, and then maybe he'll come back.
He's coming back.
He's coming back.
Let's repeat the question.
I jumped out of the other one so he could have a free spot. All right, there's Eric. Can you hear me now? Oh, your mic's muted. Let me fix that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. I can hear you.
Yes.
You were in the middle of a really good question.
Well, so it was a complicated statement. So just correct me if I'm wrong with this statement. AAA through Lucha Libre FMV LLC has licensed to MGM Factory Made El Rey, the producers of Lucha Underground, the rights to use the IPs, the intellectual property of characters that they were sending from AAA to Lucha Underground. Is that basically how you guys got the rights and the abilities to use the AAA characters?
Yeah. I mean, I think that we have their, and this is when it gets into this IP law. Know that I'm not smart enough to go to law school, so I'm clearly just kind of explaining our working arrangement and not any contractual precedents that
it's good enough because I don't think anyone else talking about it has even as much of an idea as you do. So.
Yeah. I mean, yes, we do use the AAA IP that we want to use. However, for the TV show, we have separate contracts with the guys than the AAA contracts. So, there's plenty of guys on our show that have contracts with MGM that don't necessarily have a contract with AAA. And, I think that it works well that way in that I look at who do I have under contract, and are those guys that are under my contract, are they honoring my contract And as long as the answer is yes, I don't get involved in all the rest of it. So I feel like, our TV show, and granted, we have overlap with the principals and the people who are on the LLC board of directors that are also involved in AAA and the parent company, the Lucha Libre FMV. My job as the showrunner of Lucha Underground is literally just to protect this little entity that is our weekly show on the El Rey network. And whereas the things that go on around it do affect me, and the people that are coming in and out of AAA do affect me, but I look at my roster, my active roster, as the people who are currently under contract. And that's who I go with. And that's who Chris write for. And so, as things flare up in Mexico or here or whatever, if they haven't violated the contract with Lucha Underground, as far as I'm concerned, the next taping, they're showing up.
They can come to work and it's cool, basically.
Yeah. Now, are there things that have the potential to disrupt that working? Of course, and everybody's sort of seen those things and knows what those things are. But that's not my piece of the pie. I'm focused on the TV show, and I'm focused on the performers that are on the TV show. And if I call somebody and say, "Hey, are you showing up for the taping?" and they say yes, that's all I care about. If somebody shows up on another TV show, then they're going to have lawyers, in the United States, then they're going to have lawyers all over them from MGM. But as far as I'm concerned, honor the contract that you have with the TV show. And I don't have a problem with you, but a lot of these guys have multiple deals and multiple contracts, and they got to kind of figure it out. I think you have to look at each case as an individual basis. And look, there's a lot of wrestling bullshit going on.
Yes,
and
for sure.
There's people who are obviously trying to disrupt the way that AAA does business and the way that Lucha Underground is doing. And, I look at that as, if you are succeeding and you are doing well and you are getting people's attention, you will have people who are out to get you, and you will have people that are out to eat off your table and pull your people away. That just says you're doing the right thing in a lot of ways. I think that's just kind of, a byproduct of getting attention. And, we've gotten a lot of attention, and so these people are going to come out of the woodwork, and people are going to try and disrupt the way we're doing things. And I think in a lot of ways, the model that we have is so different that people probably, there's probably some people that don't like it, and that's fine. We don't have to be for everybody, but we're trying to work a product that works on the El Rey network, and I think we're headed in the right direction. And certainly there's things that we're going to try and smooth out, and we're trying to fix things up. And there is an effort being made right now to put some key players in place that can help connect the two arms of this thing, and then so that the hands can work together. And those are announcements that I'm not free to discuss, but you'll be hearing about them very soon. And it's just basically putting in sort of boots on the ground that will work with the talent on both sides of the border, and make sure that our Lucha Underground guys are being taken care of in Mexico, and the Mexican guys are getting taken care of here in the States. And so, I think we're all really trying to look at this as not a freelance situation, but we're trying to move it now to where our talent feels like we are helping them and helping support them year round. And that's taken some work, and that's really the hardest part, and that's the toughest part. People, you guys, because you work in TV, you don't expect to have a year-round gig. You expect to do and next year I've got 3 months on this show, and then I hear this one's coming back, and I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go, and for a lot of ways, that's kind of how we looked at it for the first season or two.
Right.
But now,
I was kind of trying to explain that too. Like during your hiatus, you may not even have the infrastructure to deal with some of this stuff because you don't have a full-time staff. Like, there's nobody to call to answer some of these issues or to send out a press release or any of that stuff.
Exactly.
So
yeah, and so that we are taking active steps to solve that issue and to create more of a year-round promotion and make sure that guys are getting, or we're helping our guys get work, helping our guys stay busy. It does us no good if people are starving between seasons, and if using our IP will help that, then we want to be a part of that. And I think we're really putting the steps in place to make that happen. We get curveballs thrown at us all the time, but we understand that that people need to work year round, and whatever we can do to help that, we will.
Which is awesome. And I've been watching people's dates and stuff is filling up. And other than, some of the crazy things going on in Mexico and whatnot. What's up with Son of Havoc?
He broke his leg.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he posted a picture of his x-ray or something. It looked pretty bad, but that guy, if there's anyone who's going to bounce back quickly, it's going to be Matt. He lives like the Spartan existence. He doesn't all he walks around with this Tupperware of food, and he doesn't drink. He doesn't have any bad habits, and he works out 8 hours a day. And he's if there's anybody who's built to bounce back, it'll be Matt. I think.
Well, this might be shitty to say, but this could have been the dead middle of the season, and that would have been way worse, right?
I would never say that because but there was like when PJ broke his ankles. I think I was like, "Hey, you got a nice long stretch to recover here, buddy. You're not going to miss a paycheck from us." and I would say the same thing to Matt. Like Matt, you'll by the end of summer, you'll be good to go. And you wouldn't have missed out on a full season, because probably if we'd stayed with our original, what we thought we were going to shoot, we'd be just getting underway with season 4. So he would have missed a big chunk of that, if not all of it. So, that's a silver lining for him.
Yeah.
Okay. So 5/31/17 is in fact the date it's going to be back on the air. Is that correct?
I saw that on the El Rey Twitter feed, so I'm calling that gospel.
All right. Yeah.
That hero's birthday.
Yeah.
Right.
See, this is how you get actual. Is that Vamp's birthday?
It's Vamp's birthday.
Oh,
Happy
see, that
birthday,
could have just been a
Vampiro.
big birthday party announcement. But I think I saw DJ also say that was probably the return date too. But see, again, before I actually say that, I wanted to see from one of the actual people who would possibly know.
I'd heard that date before that was posted, so I know there's some validity to it now.
That's good. That's early summer. I mean, a lot of us were like, I was feeling like it. All signs were pointing to the week after July 4th, like, the 12th or something. I was like,
look, there's not been an official announcement, so maybe I guess they could change it, but I don't think they will. I think it's probably what I discussed a couple weeks ago when I was on talking about their other new shows they want to roll out. That's still my theory. I don't know. But my guess is the end of our season will be connected with the beginning of those seasons.
Well, and it seems to fit too, because that's post sweeps time, and they're not a network that really should be concerned with sweeps
they
anyway.
Don't really look at the ratings at this point. Yeah.
I mean, and I've seen stuff out there from Rodriguez himself talking about ratings, about how that's not the way to build the network right now, especially when he was talking about Dusk Till Dawn and other things. Like, that's not really the model for what they're trying to do. They need the cult following. They need the base. They need those core numbers first, regardless of high or low. To me, it's got an avid cult following, which is what you want to be your base level and build upon, even if the number is wherever.
Yeah, and it's like the lamest TV thing to say, but it's like they're trying to build a brand. They're still trying to figure out who they are. Certainly, it would be too narrow of a description to say they're a wrestling channel, because that's not accurate.
Right. So the other thing with Netflix, just season 1 and 2, right? Is there a deal in place for season 3 that you can mention, or do you think the 3 will end up there?
But I think that's probably more from our side. That we can't deliver season 3 because we're not done with season 3.
Right.
So we're still editing season 3. So usually these things are delivered, seasonally. So my guess is that there will be a an additional deal for season 3. Now, hopefully, season 1 and 2 do so well that we can, get a better deal for season 3.
Right, which is what the other reason why I was telling a friend of mine that they probably don't want to sign away the rights to the future thing if all of a sudden, it takes off even bigger and better.
Yeah, we're hopeful that I think that we're more optimistic about our Netflix audience than Netflix. I think Netflix is, skeptical about, getting into the wrestling game, but I think they will be pleasantly surprised by some of the fan attraction to it.
I think it's a perfect fit for them though, because they've said that they want to stay away from live sport.
Yeah.
It's that appointment viewing that fits that demographic still on Netflix. And this is a perfect way to do it with an actual scripted TV show that runs on a TV schedule like all the other programming they run. So they don't have to deal with live sport.
TV is all about buckets, putting it in a bucket. And this goes into the wrestling bucket, and it's not. But it doesn't really have anything that you can, try pitching this show in 30 seconds. It's pretty much impossible.
Yeah, I don't know how I would do it.
So I think that people will be pleasantly surprised by, the way that it crosses over into different subcultures and fan bases. But let's just let it happen and let our fans get behind it and support it. And, I'm pretty hopeful.
So, okay, here's a question that I know you actually know the answer to, whether you'll tell us or not. So you get to this mid-season finale thing, and all of a sudden you've got to go on this hiatus, and you've got to go out where you hadn't planned to go out in style.
Yeah.
Did you guys have to move around a bunch of stuff? Did it crazy screw you? And then the second part of the question is, have you edited that one match that we all know is going to be the match? Yeah, it's still as awesome as we all remember it being.
Which one? The one in Ultima Lucha?
Yes, that one.
We have not.
My God. You have to tell us if it's as amazing as we all remember, because it's been so damn long now. But
I haven't seen it since then either. What did I watch today? Well, we haven't announced that one multiple week thing that goes on. But that person you're talking about in that multiple week thing that goes on is so great. He's just fun, man. He's awesome. That thing really picks up some steam. That's where we are in the editorial process right now, in the semifinals of that full week thing that you don't know about.
I get it. So, but that puts you guys pretty far along. So you guys, but there's still some work left to do. Then so you guys are working.
Yeah, I think today was I watched 29, maybe 27, 29. So I still have 3 more months of post, and then let's say I think a 328 we online tomorrow. So we still have.
But dang, that means you're going to hit a 100th episode in this season. That's going to be a pretty big deal, huh?
Oh, we made a big deal out of it when we taped it.
Yeah. Thanks for getting me.
You guys some T-shirts, don't I?
Not me. I was there. I got a T-shirt.
Yeah,
I need one.
Sick.
Thanks to our friends at Cricket. They paid for those 100th episode.
Cricket's done right by us as Lucha Underground.
Byron coughed on a pizza and got me sick, and I couldn't go.
It was.
I treated them to a meal for a podcast, and then they blame me for getting sick.
Okay, so to sum it up, and I don't want to take up too much of your time because you were gracious enough to come on, even though we just had you on a few weeks ago. But so many questions came up between now and then. It was oh my God, we have to beg and plead EV-Dub to come back and maybe help make some heads or tails of this, because I can't answer these questions. And the thing is, the stuff I've been saying is not far from what you're saying, but I don't work for the company. I don't know these things for fact any more than that little podcast that reported that wrong date.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I understand this world a little bit more because this is more of a TV show than a wrestling show. But so do you have a good feeling about your returning roster for when you come back for season 4? Do you feel like that? I know there are individual issues, but do you feel strong? 'Cause I mean, honestly, look, the honest reality is fans are worried. Fans want to know if they're going to see Pentagon and Phoenix and Jack Evans and Sexy Star. That's just the honest reality of the question. I know you can't answer specifically.
I would say this. I have no reason to think that when we start shooting Lucha Underground again in the late summer, early fall, I have zero reason to think that those guys won't be there.
Great. And if you do have reason, please come back and tell us. Like, no, we're totally firing this dude because he's a jackass.
I mean, we're planning that they will be there. They have a contract. They have a contract with MGM for American television, and this is the show where they can perform on American television, and we expect them to honor it.
Now there are some guys that are maybes that were maybes before this, right?
Yeah.
There are some contracts that are up, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
but really, I mean, everyone's talking about the Trevor one,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to really talk about that one. But look, that was the big one. But Johnny Mundo still got another year with us, and we've got other people that are extended. We have a core with which to work from, and we have some new people that we're trying to bring in, and we will do well.
Oh, I can't wait to see the new people. This is going to be so much fun. I want to say, well, officially, congratulations on the Netflix thing, because we haven't talked to you since it's been official at any point in time, and there's all this damn rigmarole about it. We should be just celebrating in the joy of the fact that there is a Netflix deal. You're hearing it from one of the people who actually works for the damn company. There's a Netflix deal. This is awesome.
Well, I mean, I'm unofficially announcing it, but
still, like,
when do we get the Netflix shirts?
Do they have them? I don't even know. This thing is the Netflix thing, man. That's like giving birth to an elephant. I mean, don't they have like 2 years gestation periods or something like that? That's what it feels like.
Well, it's true. And I mean, you've been carrying around the question forever. It was like, I think the first Lucha Underground show I came to, people were like, "Oh, this shit might be on Netflix." There's no Netflix. It's going to Hulu. And
that's accurate.
It's been a long ordeal, and it's tough when you have big companies that have a lot of different divisions and a lot of different interests around the world. I mean, that's really been the big part of it. Is that how do you put together a deal that's North America or Latin America or Europe or Spanish speaking or what? I mean, there's so many different platforms now. And we've got MGM, and then we've got AAA, and we've got the LLC, and we've got all these people that have a piece of it. And getting them all to agree on the same thing at the same time, they've looked at this deal 100 different ways, and let's just be glad that it's finally here.
I am 100% glad, and I hope it brings some cash inflow and some more widespread eyeballs.
It's all about the eyeballs.
Well, and I agree, because, I mean, I feel like it's easier for a guy like me who likes the product, that now my cousin, who's a huge wrestling fan, won't even listen to the podcast because he doesn't watch enough Lucha Underground to know what we're talking about, because he doesn't get it on his cable carrier. And so it's like, dude, go watch this and this match. Yeah. Give me 1 hour of your time, 2 hours of your time. You'll be listening to every episode of this. You'll be watching every episode of the show. And I know him. He's a huge comic book fan. He's always been a wrestling fan. Like, he'll watch Total Divas. Like, there's no way that he shouldn't be watching, something better with that hour of his life. Come on. But
I know I've played matches off the YouTube channel at work, because
that doesn't give you the full picture. That's
so when it comes on to Netflix, I'm just gonna have it go on full time in the office.
I like that.
Like when we wait in line and shit.
Brings me to another question I was supposed to ask Eric from Meatloaf, I think, a long time ago. What happened to the Lucha Underground gifts on the social media? Yeah. They stopped doing was that too much of the show that they were giving away? Or do you not even know?
You know what it is? We have new people at social. We had a guy who did an amazing job, Yoni, who got his green card finally. God bless him.
Congratulations.
And, hopefully he's still here.
And so he went on a vacation back to Israel to visit his family. I guess he hadn't seen his family in like 5 or 6 years. So he's gone for a few months, and I think he was looking to now work at a different company and do different things. And he'd done a great job. He handled all the social pieces from the El Rey side. He's left the company, and we have a new person coming in, and I think it's just about getting him up to speed and all that.
See, and this is also like clarifies so much to me about what is going on with the Lucha Underground thing. I can't tell you the crazy 5 or 6 conspiracy theories that were out there just from the fact that the social media tweets changed. Like the sky was falling on Lucha Underground because all of a sudden there was no gifts.
No, just a different.
The guy just got a green card and went on vacation, guys. That's it. That's the whole explanation.
Yeah, he's the guy who's done it since the very beginning. This guy Yoni, and he got his green card and left El Rey, wants to go do something different. He'd been there since the beginning of the network, and so I think they've hired some new people in, and it's just, I think, getting them up to speed. But that's I will mention that. They should get. You're right. We really those were popular.
Look, it's as long as they keep retweeting me and Mil Machetes and CJ De Niro and these guys and the Last Real Heels, we'll all be happy.
I won't be happy. I like seeing myself as a GIF. Like,
oh god, camera whore. Okay, Eric. So here's my last question. It's a tough one. Have you any trademarks for any wrestler names this week? I'm sorry, I'm a dick. I have to ask these things.
I don't know anything about that. That is not anything that I am aware of. That I saw that and did a double take myself, so I don't know anything about that.
Just like there's plenty I can say about it editorially that I'm sure rant about. And
I mean, look, I would love to off camera just tell you some of the bullshit shenanigans that are going on from people outside of our group towards our group, but I'm sure you can probably connect the dots and know who the players are in that. But that's just wrestling garbage. It's
love of my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is merch coming along too? Like, I mean, I know how you feel about merch. I know how Casey feels about merch, and I know Byron wants a replica belt like tomorrow.
I need shiny.
He cries about it every day. It's getting
no.
Well, that now falls back under Dorian's new job description. So he's new in that. AAA does a good job with their merch down in Mexico. They've got all the supply chains in place down there, and I think they're just looking to expand it once they get up here. Hopefully, I agree with you. I think we need better stuff.
We just want better, more of it, and the availability. I think there's just a lot of money left on the table, honestly, that I don't want to see you guys or the workers miss out on. It's like, damn, I know that there's at least a cool $100 in my pocket that I would have spent on shit by now.
Yep.
And that's money you guys could have for the product, and I would like
in the
for you guys
mail
to have
me.
it.
I'll distribute it. Trust me.
Oh, we'll send it in the mail right along with the MMM show shirts that we got sent here for you.
We actually do have those, Justin. Those shirts exist, unlike the $100.
There might be $100 in my pocket somewhere for Lucha Underground, but I want to buy something cool. I want to buy, How do I get one of those Pinche Rudo T-shirts? Then how do I get one of those? Oh, Last Real Heels.
Last Real Heels. No, Butcher got that.
That's the other podcast. That's the other.
No, it's the Butcher guy. What his name?
Martel Butcher.
No, but he did it for J-Man.
Yeah, but he'll sell it on their Pro Wrestling Tees thing.
See, that's the one I want. I want that.
Pro Wrestling Tees. Use the code.
Ours aren't good enough.
No, Shields.
Called our shirt garbage to our face.
Hardly.
Hey, Justin, take those shirts that you're holding on to and just flush them down the toilet.
You guys I'm
saving up for the Hot Tub Guys T-shirt. That's the one.
I thought he changed his name to Hot Dog Guy.
No, that was captioning. Called him Hot Dog Guy on Lucha Underground. It was fucking amazing.
I'm trademarking that shit right now.
How has he been? How is Sean?
I haven't seen him at shows because I haven't been going to shows, but he's still in the audience. He's a good dude.
I like Sean.
The Lucha Clique is full of good dudes, man, including the Heels and their shirt that you can find at Pro Wrestling Tees. Use product code LR Heels?
No,
I don't think you can use the product code at their own t-shirt store.
You can't, and we can't be shilling people's product codes when no one will give us a product code. That's not how you get a product code, Justin.
I'm terrible at this. I'm a podcasting hack. You guys know
we need
that.
to buy more followers for the show account than we can.
Where's our MeUndies sponsorship, Justin? I need some underpants.
I'm working on Boneyard Brewery. I figured since you didn't drink, that Byron and I should at least enjoy the show.
Hey, you know what? If I don't drink, then can they send me some underwear?
Oh God, they'll send you some underwear made of beer. But Eric, thank you for clearing up so many things.
I hope it helped.
It did.
And you know, I'll be back in 2 weeks to clean up all the stuff that I told you that was incorrect today.
No worries, and we'll be here, you know, and we'll be trying to explain how TV works compared to the wrestling business for people until the end of time, apparently, because no matter how many times we say it, people are just like, no, it's all a word.
As soon as I go on record saying something, it always changes. So, you know, who knows? We'll see. But thanks for keeping us, you know, talking about it. And
look,
when it's finally on Netflix, let's all breathe a big sigh of relief.
We'll have a giant viewing party. And dude, if it does pop up on my Netflix on February 15th, I will be so happy.
It's possible. I mean, I do think that it may, you know, there's a possibility. I just don't think it's likely, knowing what I know about the delivery schedules and stuff.
I concur.
Okay. All right,
Thank
guys.
you so much, Eric. Super duper appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good seeing you guys. Take care.
Cheers.
Watch the finale of Celebrity Apprentice on Monday.
Oh, you know I will. I am like this, waiting for it. But I can't talk about it because that would be stealing the heels gimmick, because they're the ones supposed to be talking about it on their show.
And how come they've never called me to talk about it? Those guys, they're big time in me now.
No, they're gonna hit you up tomorrow to come on the show next week and talk about the finale.
Okay. Well, they have my number. They know how to do it.
All right. You heard it here, heels. Get on the shit. Get on Eric on the show talking about his other show. Stop big timing, man. All right, brother.
Hey, guys.
Take care.
Eric. Thank you.
I fucking love that guy. Like, legit.
Shut up, Casey.
I mean,
I fucking hate you, Byron. But I love Eric Van Wagenen.
and I know people think that we're crazy and like we're not trying to know something that to be cool or whatever. It's just like people just don't get Lucha Underground because it's a TV show. It wasn't a wrestling promotion first. You heard what the man was talking about. Like they're trying to do more things to make it into a wrestling promotion just to keep workers happy, because they were never set up that way. They hired these guys as actors. They licensed intellectual property. They wrote a great TV show. They edited an awesome TV show. They're trying to distribute an awesome TV show onto Netflix. That's the stuff that they're worried about because they're a TV show.
Right.
They're
it's like
Ring of Honor.
Though, Justin, because as someone that kind of has, like, I absorb a lot of wrestling knowledge and it's stuck up here, it's hard to look at things differently than a wrestling fan standpoint when you're coming at it. And that's not just the fans, it's the people that analyze wrestling for a living as well that falter a little bit on the TV thing. And I don't mean that as like a harshness or to be a dick or anything. It's just that they're coming from a different world. And as wrestling fans, you're trained to absorb all this knowledge of all these promotions that have happened and memorize that. And this is different than fucking all of them.
Yeah, but as you see, some of that is coming into play. Just like he said, some of the wrestling bullshit world is coming into it. You do have guys jumping ship. And I am going to talk about that stuff. I'm going to give you my opinions now. Opinions, by the way, opinions, not facts. I'm sure Casey will give you some of his opinions. You didn't come here just for the news because we're not really even a news site. We're a news source of any kind. We're normally here to just entertain you with our ridiculous thoughts about stuff as fans ourselves. So we're still going to do that, even though we had some real news there for a minute. Going to put back on my wrestling fan cap, my Lucha Underground hat, and be a fan for a minute. So the wrestling bullshit part of what's going on right now is kind of what I want to get into. And the first place I want to start, because I kind of know where I know you want to get to, Case, and probably where Byron wants to get to too. But what I want to talk about is the old school AAA jumps. When Conan and all those guys left for ECW and then jumped from ECW to WCW, it was a different thing than La Rebellion jump. Those guys had some place to jump to. Now, given ECW wasn't necessarily the biggest jump in the world, but it was solid. They were running a lot of shows. It was getting, good underground publicity. And this was before you could really make a big indie tour jump and hit all the indies. So you wanted to have that focal point, right? And then you jump to WCW because they've got major television. Works there. They pay on time. They're not Heyman. Whatever Paulie was dealing with at the time to get by.
I think one thing you're missing is Promo Azteca here too, because that's a big part of it. But because that's what the Crash is. But I don't want it to be.
But
Promo Azteca went down in flames.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at is, okay, so leaving AAA part for, Daga, Garza, Phoenix, Pentagon, whatever. I get it. Okay, you're not happy for some reason or another. There's no argument I'm going to make that's going to say whatever the working conditions were fine, or that you were always getting paid on time or not. Though I've heard that some guys in this group were and some weren't. That even within this group, they don't even have all the same reasons for jumping, but they all have their reasons. Fine. I'm not going to question anybody's reasons. You feel like you got to do something with your employer, whatever. But what I'm going to say is you're making a jump, but where are you making a jump to? And please don't think I'm criticizing Conan. Like, I listen to his podcast every week. I have mad respect for Conan. I think he's a creative genius. I love what he's doing. All the stuff that he's bringing to the Crash is awesome. But at the same time, how many shows is he running?
Right.
How much money does he have to pay these guys? He's not running pay-per-views. He doesn't have TV distribution. He's running a super cool, 5 times a year indie in Tijuana.
It grabs the headline and you talk about it for a month and then they'll do another show.
And cool. If your boys are going to jump anyway, you should be like, dude, if you guys are really going to get out of there anyway, like, do it right before I do my show, and I can at least give you the rub. And maybe that's what happened. But if they're drinking the Kool-Aid on there being something bigger to it than that, I don't know that was necessarily the best choice. But again, I'm not them. This doesn't put food on my table, so I can't tell you why they're doing the jump other than the speculation that I've heard. And some of it's obvious because we're not talking about one guy wanting to jump. We're talking about a lot of people that sound like they're super cool with getting out of there. Yeah. And that does tell you something.
Yeah. There's been a lot of people who made the jump, and then there's been a lot of people who've sort of been pushed out. And it's just, there seems to be a fundamental problem with how business has been done.
This has happened in AAA numerous times, and different people leaving for different reasons. Like when Antonio Pena died and Conan took over, a lot of the people that were kind of like Pena gimmicks that people use that more in like, he was a genius at creating gimmicks, but he gets saddled with a lot of the like stripper gimmicks and the exotico gimmicks because he was a gay dude. And it's not really fair that that's like the legacy that he has in a lot of people's minds, but a lot of those characters Conan didn't want to use anymore. So they lost their jobs. And a lot of them were, some of them were even relatives of Pena and lost their jobs. And they didn't really lose their jobs. They just stopped getting booked and eventually said, fuck it, I'm gone. And it's like, you saw that happen. But now you see Zorro leaving, who's been there forever, who's been super loyal. I find that more concerning than Pentagon and Phoenix leaving, who've only been there for a few years. And while they're my favorite wrestlers that have left, Zorro leaving is a fucking red flag in my opinion, because he is someone that has been there forever. He's super loyal. He is always, even when they don't use him for long periods of time, he comes back eventually and he's back on TV. I think that's a big, that scares me a little bit that it's him leaving.
Yeah. And my question is again, like, where are they leaving to? What are they leaving to go to? Like, I got it with those guys doing the ECW jump in the W. It was like, yeah, they're leaving AAA to come be American wrestlers. Like, is that what these guys are doing? That's not what Zorro's doing.
No, a lot
of leaving because he's fed up. I mean, that's a lot of dudes
think they can just work indies and get more dates, and that they can work around their own schedule more. And I mean, that's happened, you know, like Oz, one of my favorite wrestlers, basically retired, right? And like he wasn't, and he left AAA, and then he did a couple spot shows and kind of faded into obscurity, and then he started showing up on elite shows, because they were only doing shit like once a month, like Crash, and if even that, and bringing in dudes. So maybe it's worth it just to do indie shows and then get a big payday on one of these shows. If the payday's big, I don't fucking know.
Maybe.
You know, you get exposure.
What were you going to say, Byron? Was there a question from the chat room or something?
Miflo brought up that AAA guys can't go to Europe really unless they, I guess, give a cut. But basically the deal, I mean, in the US, Pentagon's still he's like the hottest indie act, but now he's able to go to Europe and do shows and make a lot of money over there.
You know what, Meatloaf, at the beginning of Lucha Underground, they couldn't come to Lucha Underground without giving AAA a cut, but that went away.
But I think I think in general, TKD,
yes,
Randy mentioned to me that he doesn't think the guys, he thinks the guys with masks have to give AAA a cut if it's a AAA owned mask character.
Well, like, I mean, that's going to be the same thing with the LLC licensing out these gimmicks to these guys. I mean, they're not going to do it for free, but hopefully affordable to the point where the guys are still making money because they can hopefully command a higher price by using the gimmick or get more regular dates by using the gimmick.
And
but we'll see.
It's those guys I'm concerned about, because like Pentagon and Phoenix, you know, they're having gimmick trouble, but Drago and Aerostar, if they tried to leave, they'd be completely fucked. Because this is
okay, so that's
Aerostar. Well, but the thing is, it's can they still look the same? Can they wear similar? If
that's what I want to get to. To me, that's the whole point. So when you like these workers, what are you supporting? Are you supporting the gimmick? Or are you supporting the? And so let's use Pentagon. Who created the gimmick? That's the real first question I think we have to ask about, and we have to probably do this individually for each talent. Who created the Pentagon gimmick? I mean,
Antonio.
He's Pentagon Jr. It wasn't his gimmick, but he did take it to a slightly different place. Now, was that him that made it more of a skeleton type Pentagon character was?
Supposedly, yes, that was 100% him.
Right. So he added a little
neck flap.
What?
Did he add the neck flaps?
Yeah, I think so.
No,
the juniors added it.
No. Fuck. I want to say that
the juniors, when Octagon Junior, Pentagon Junior,
the
original set
some of the other guys had neck flaps. Octagon has neck flaps.
There's a lot to his character and his catchphrase that he did create, and I think when the whole, just by coincidence, when Octagon Jr. went away twice, you know, that kind of that distances Pentagon from the intended original. Okay,
so even then, so you've got this game.
Yeah, and I think we should clarify for people that Pentagon Jr., if you're counting all the Pentagons, including the minis, he's like the fifth
or sixth. Yeah, exactly. So this wasn't a name he came up with. No. We just have to acknowledge that and say, look, he would not have been Pentagon anything had he not been given that gimmick.
No, he was Dark Dragon, which I think he could go back to because he's already got a fucking ninja gimmick.
Well, look,
and he has dragons on his mask.
And I'm getting to that point, kind of. So, but I want to take it in order. So first, he gets given the Pentagon Junior.
Shit, we lost him, didn't we?
Casey, I thought you said that the company before that he worked with before owned Dark Dragon.
No, I don't think own it. He was just doing indies.
Dark Dragon would be awesome, but it's just also the way he worked out his name is he gets to say Penta, which we're all used to.
Right.
And then he gets to say his name like Penta, El Cerro Miedo.
Right, which the Cerro Miedo gets sells, you know.
And it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but it gets the chant going when he goes blah blah blah. I'm Penta El Cerro.
Okay, so wait. I froze for a minute there, but let me get back on track here. What I was saying is, the first thing you acknowledge is he did not create the original gimmick. He is the fourth or fifth of many Pentagons that have existed. He's Pentagon Jr. originally. Okay, Pentagon's not his, but aspects of the gimmick are his. So the question becomes, and then the real question is, he never got over necessarily. He was working his way up in AAA to, it was clearly a top mid-carder who was branching into the top of the card from time to time. But
much like Lucha Underground, with the audience, he was the most over guy. And not getting
but still not at the top of the card. He still wasn't. But as you saw some of the stuff they had planned for him recently and how they were using him, he was getting there. He had some great moments in the last 2 years in AAA, dropping the belt to Mundo aside. So, but we're talking a top mid-card guy there. Then he comes to Lucha Underground, and whether they expected it or not, and I went back and I read some old Lucha Blog stuff where Lucha Blog was kind of explaining who Drago, Phoenix, and Pentagon were. Yeah. And Pentagon was the third of the three in the explanation.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And it was like, this guy is one to watch, but he's not over yet. We'll see. Real fans should dig it. And Lucha Blog, to his credit, said this, 2-3 years ago, was basically saying, hey, watch Pentagon. This is the guy that's going to get over.
Right.
And he did.
We were all Pentagon's fucking awesome at everything he does, but he was just the guy that beat up Australian Suicide every week.
That was it, back and forth. And Australian Suicide is still dope, in my opinion, because of that feud.
I still want to know whose dick he touched, but, some people heard that story.
So anyway, but he comes to Lucha Underground, and why do you think it gets over? Is it the backstage promo? Is that what really first did it for people? Is it the in-ring stuff? Why did he get over in Lucha Underground? Was it DJ?
Okay.
Was it him?
No, dude. The second they started equating him with the mythology is when I was on board. And
the mythology.
But how much is that tied to?
You know what it was? Is he was winning and he was breaking people's arms every week until they fucked it up and had him lose to Sexy Star. He was protected and doing well.
Tapped him out, bro.
But what I'm saying is, it's the gimmick.
Yeah, it's the gimmick. Ideas. I love his work. He's a great fucking wrestler, and he connects with the crowd.
Yeah, a lot of the character work on Lucha Underground, either Lucha Underground or him, whichever brought to the table.
I'm not saying he's not a great performer. I'm not saying that at all. Right. Okay, here's what I'm getting at, though. Here's the moral of the story. You've got part of a gimmick that was created in AAA. Mm-hmm. Then it was expanded on inhabiting the character and what he was doing as the character. Then it was expanded on again by Lucha Underground.
Right.
Now you've got this circumstance where he's left one of those employers that created part of this entire thing.
And you still have two other parts, is what you're saying.
And you still have two other parts, but they're still separate. Mm-hmm. So for him as an indie worker who's going to the you're jumped from promotions to promotions. Like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall going to WCW. They're not Diesel and Razor Ramon, but they're pretty close, and they took the parts of it that were them. To me, in my opinion, that's what he's got to do now. He's got to stop with all this Penta, El Cerro Miedo, whatever stuff.
I think he can.
What's that?
Get away from up and do the parts that are him, because I'm going to support the worker. I think regardless of the cool stuff that DJ wrote for him, regardless of the flaps they put on him or made him into this Pentagon gimmick, that he is still the guy that had that feud with Australian Suicide. Like, he is still the guy who's had these incredible matches that we've seen. his work got him over in a lot of ways. And it's performer or even a Lucha Underground performer, what he needs to be doing on these indie shows needs to go to the core of him as a character. Like, you know, he's one of the few luchadors, I don't even know his real name. I don't know his or Phoenix's real names. No clue. I mean, do you guys know?
No, and if I did, I would act like I didn't. But yeah, it's weird, man, because like these guys,
maybe he's inhabited the gimmick too much. Maybe it's time to part ways with it a little bit.
You gotta protect. See, that's the thing, though, is because he's still got to protect his identity, right? So he's got to say, "Yeah, I'm the same Pentagon," or it's gonna be happening like.
Does he?
Do you guys ever hear? You know, La Parka, our good friend La Parka, the real one, LA Park. Yes. Okay, so AAA made the bullshit Parka. We all know that. That guy fucking sucks. And I do know his real name, but I'm not going to say it right now. But anyway, La Parka came out and said, "Hey guys, my name's Adolfo Tapia. I want you guys to know that because there's been a lot of fake parkas around, and I want you to know that you're getting the right one." So he
never took his mask off.
Never took his mask off, but I mean, he's lost his mask. Principe Island, and there's that whole shoot story that I told you guys about where the guy unmasked him during the match, fucking Super Pinocchio, that piece of shit. And he had to do that because not just in Mexico, but in the US too, there were fucking fake parkas getting booked, and he wanted people to know he was the real one. That's not something Pentagon's had to deal with, hopefully, but you never fucking know. People are sleazy as shit, man. And yeah, I mean, I hope that he can protect his identity while protecting part of the gimmick if he switches, is the thing. Like, I think that's why he's holding on to it as much as he is. Plus, Cero Miedo looks dope on a shirt, you know. And we lost Justin. But it says we're still live, so I think that people can still see us. And I don't know, man.
Things tricky. Phoenix, I think, is a little more...
Right.
He's a little bit more in like gimmick peril than Pentagon, because Pentagon has Cero Miedo. Pentagon just kind of can do his dance or whatever. But Phoenix,
it's not like I don't want to say a bunch of them because I don't want Angry Little Men to trademark them. But there are a lot of mythological analogs to the Phoenix character, to the Phoenix animal. There's a lot of almost kind of like synonyms for Phoenix out there that he could possibly use.
There's also a ton of wrestlers using Phoenix or Ray Phoenix or whatever. It's almost like a generic thing, which to me actually kind of works in his favor because it makes it harder to shut it down. Because you know, now it's like, oh, you're going to go see him. But what you're really looking for is you're looking for him telling you to go to a show, or you're looking for his mask on a poster. And he gets to keep his mask. Pentagon gets to keep the mask.
Right, because
you're going to go see.
They made their shit different enough that they won't get in trouble. Like Pentagon's mask.
So if Aerostar leaves,
like the original.
Aerostar can still do another Aerostar mask.
Yeah.
Maybe... I don't know if he could do the Iron Man chest thing anymore, but what about
the guy that considers himself the last great creation of Antonio Pena will leave AAA? But I didn't. If you would have asked me if I thought Zorro would leave AAA, I would have said no.
I mean, we're just talking hypotheticals as far as can they translate their appeal outside of
Drago
AAA.
Can. Because there's like 10 other fucking things a dragon motherfucker can call himself, right? Like Drago.
But he could take the mask of, like, he can't walk around as a dragon somewhere else, and they can't.
You could just do like Vibora, get a different dragon mask, and
that's true.
Yeah.
Vibora has.
I mean, Luchasaurus mask isn't the Vibora mask, but it's the same gimmick basically. He just looks different, you know.
I'm back. I'm not on Wi-Fi anymore, though. By the way, I don't know. My internet just shit the bed.
You're like hardwired in right now, like old school and shit.
No, I'm on cell service.
Oh
Gotta use
shit!
the unlimited data for something.
Oh, fuck, I wish I had them.
I
get
hacked
two
back
gigs,
into
dude.
my own show.
Hacking the mainframe. Opened up the urban door.
Yeah,
You,
Byron.
does it sound like crap?
It
You
does?
sound good.
And Byron sounds
does.
all like rich and nice.
I wanna point out though, by the way, something that's been happening on the down low is that there have been GIFs of the MMM show appearing on the internet. If you search hard enough, you can find them. They're
I posted all
horrifying.
of them.
Because I said I wanted gifts of me. Is that why?
Do your own research. Do your own legwork, bro.
I refuse to even look at them because they're probably not nice.
Yeah, they're very not nice.
Are they from
And,
the 3 people that thumbs down us?
let's see. We have no thumbs down.
Fucking right.
I'm not talking about this week. It's because nobody knew Casey was going to be on tonight. Okay, so I know I get what you were saying too, especially about Aerostar and Drago and those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So basically, all I'm going to say is my issue is this. I know a lot of people, including Casey over there, have said they'll stop watching Lucha Underground if Pentagon leaves. I won't, because part of what I like about Pentagon is what DJ did with the character. And I like what DJ does with characters in general. I love the show. I love how he writes. I love what he does with workers. I love the fact that he could take a guy like Pentagon who's starting to get over and get him over even more. So I'll still watch even if Pentagon's gone. I, however, will still watch whatever Pentagon is doing under whatever gimmick he's doing it under. I'll follow the guy. He's won me over as a fan. I don't care where he shows up. If he, for some reason, would leave, even though it sounded like from talking to Eric earlier that most likely is not going to be the case. But if he were to show up at TNA, I'd probably start watching TNA. I'll support the guy wherever he goes. And that's my whole point to everyone.
Even TNA.
My whole point to everyone out there is, and to you as well, Casey, support the stuff that you love for the reasons that you love it.